information to go through, but I'm what's standing between you and dinner, so we'll try to move through all the material as quickly as possible. There should be 2 things coming to you right now. I want to talk about those before I give you ones that you need to actually do something with, just so you won't be super distracted, I guess. Or I won't be distracted, maybe. So I am Michelle Stuckey. I taught here for 12 years, so I might have had some of your older siblings. I'm the director at the Warren County Community Foundation now, but the foundation lets me take off work to do these trips. So I actually do Fountain Central, Attica, and Seegers trips, and I've been doing the Fountain Central trip for a long time. I don't even know how many years now. But we have, I'll be going on the trip, and then there'll also be 5 other Fountain Central teachers going on the trip as well. So 6 of us taking your students. We will be leaving next Thursday. I realized I probably need one of those papers to look off up to. So the 2 papers you're getting in front of you right now are an itinerary and then kind of a list of items that we're going to try to breeze through. My phone number is on one of them. Call me, text me anytime. Texting might be a little bit better just to get your question out there to me, but then I can call you back if it's a complex answer. I'm just pretty busy at my actual job right now, so I might not get back to you instantly or might not be able to answer the phone if I'm in a meeting. So on the itinerary, you'll see that it's jam-packed every day. We wake up in Gettysburg on next Friday, the 13th morning, and we're on the go pretty much until you get back to school on Tuesday, the 17th, early in the morning. So you will be So you guys are going to be missing days of school, so you need to make sure that you talk to your teachers about any assignments that you're supposed to be working on while you're gone on the trip. That then leads right into spring break time. I don't think I want to hit on every item on the itinerary, but when you're glancing at it, is there anything that you see that you don't know what it is, or you want to know what it is, or any questions? Just take a quick glance at that. Just while you're glancing at it. Friday, we start in Gettysburg. Then we move into the outskirts of town with the National Cathedral and the zoo. Then we move into town to Kennedy Center. That wraps up our long day since we will have been sleeping on the bus Thursday night. Then we get going Saturday morning. We go out to Mount Vernon, which is outside of Alexandria. And then we come back into town. Spend the rest of the day sort of around the National Mall area, which is the big green space that goes from Lincoln Memorial to the Capitol building. Same on Sunday, a lot of destinations to hit, Smithsonian building. Then we'll go out near Dulles Airport to the Air and Space Museum out there. It's a lot larger than the one in downtown DC. It has a space shuttle, which is really cool to see, way bigger than you might think. And then we have our dinner dance that night. We'll talk about the dance a little bit later in the paperwork. And then our wreath laying at the Arlington National Cemetery is on Monday. This is the first time that we've ever done Monday. I put in your guys' request a year ahead for doing the wreath laying, but if I'm not on it's a little bit easier process now than it used to be, so you really have to be on the computer a year ahead to get the day you want, and I was on there one day less than a year ahead, and I didn't get the time slot I wanted, but we still got our wreath laying, which is not super easy to do. So our wreath laying ceremony will be on Monday the 16th. There are, I believe, several of you that did an essay contest, and I know that you're going to be finding out tomorrow who those people are. So thank you for those of you that wrote essays. There will be special dress code that those people need, so if you're picked for that, make sure that you get from, I'm not sure who will have it, but they have the paperwork about what you have to wear. If you have any questions about that, let me know, because if you don't have the right attire, they won't let you participate in going out to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers. So that pretty much wraps up my part of talking about the itinerary. Does anybody have any questions now that you've glanced at it? My recommendation on this, literally, I'm not joking, is if you have a phone with you, take it out right now and take a picture of the itinerary. Or like if your phone doesn't zoom very well, take a few pictures. I probably get asked at least 200 times every day what's next. And it's just so helpful if you have the itinerary with you, and you might lose this piece of paper, but if you have it saved in your phone, it would be good. So that would also be good for parents in order to be able to see what your students are doing. Sometimes we flex the itinerary a little bit. The weather forecast right now looks pretty good, but if one day is scheduled for rain and we're supposed to do a lot of outside stuff, we'll switch off and do inside stuff and then wait for the weather to get better. So keep an eye on that, but right now, last I looked, it looked like it was going to be in the mid-50s and partly sunny. Okay, now to skip over to this other one. The first 4 things on the list really are things that this other paperwork will cover. There's a form for you to fill out about if the student's going to be taking any prescription medication. You have several choices, like we're allowed to give your student Tylenol. You can either check that we can or no. Cough drops, either we can or we can't. And then you check whether your student will have prescriptions or not. Either my child won't have prescriptions or they will have. The prescription, if your child has a prescription, it needs to be in the original bottle. And then you have 2 options. You can either trust your child to take it when they're supposed to and have it with them, or you can give it to us, tell them what time, and we set alarms and we dole out all the medicine. So that's up to you to think about. So that's the medicine part. And then there's a permission slip you'll sign. It kind of reads harsh, but we've never sent a student home. It says, I give my permission for my student to participate in the trip. I understand that my student needs to stay with the group and follow instructions. If my child leaves the group or does something illegal, I understand that my student will be sent home at my expense. Leaving the group means like everybody's at the zoo and your person gets an Uber and goes to like somewhere else. That's what we mean by leaving the group. So don't do that kind of stuff. Stay with the group and don't do anything illegal. Again, we've never had any problems with this, but there have been schools from different places that have had, drugs or alcohol. So just let's not do that. Number 5, all school rules apply. You have several teachers on the trip that will be enforcing those. Behavior and dress code. Hats are okay, but only outside. We're going to be going into a lot of buildings where it's not really proper to wear a ball cap. So you can wear it outside, but you probably need to take it off when we go inside places like the National Capitol building or Mount Vernon or some places like that. So there is a restroom on the bus. We try to only use it for emergencies, but it is there. It's just that what we put on the bus stays on the bus. So if everyone's using it all the way there, then that stays with us on the bus until we get back. So the back of the bus gets a little bit smelly, but it is there to use if we need it. And then we stop every 2 to 4 hours, 2 to 3 hours when we're awake, and more towards the 3 to 4 hours when we're sleeping. But we do make stops. Dress for the weather, number 7. Check the forecast ahead. Just Google Gettysburg for Friday morning. Google Washington, D.C. for the rest of the time. Be prepared for, our days are very long, so you might need lots of different clothes with you for that day. We leave the hotel early in the morning, but we go all day into the night. So today was a great example of that. I was outside walking my puppy at 3:30 and I got warm in my jacket, so I'm like, oh, I don't need a jacket, and then I was freezing when I was walking into the school. So when we leave in the morning, realize you probably want layers so that as it gets warmer throughout the day, you can take layers off, and as it gets colder throughout the evening, you can add layers. So make sure you have several different things. Take a coat. It seems like every year I say take a coat, and then we're at Gettysburg and people are like wrapped in their blankets, walking around like mummies, and it's just bring a coat. A hooded sweatshirt, in my opinion, is not a coat. Okay, that's a layer. It's not like your winter coat. So something extra. If you don't have a winter coat and you only wear a hooded sweatshirt, then bring 2 or 3 and you can layer up if you have to. So please have plenty of warm clothes. If it's supposed to be really cold in the mornings or late at night, bring like a stocking cap or whatever, or there'll be, those sorts of things for sale in DC. Good walking shoes. every year I try to explain how much we walk, and no one ever believes me. And I would think that the word trickles down from class to class that we walk a lot, especially now that people have Fitbits and things like that. We walk a lot, and it's not because, of anything other than the fact that the bus can only get us so close to certain spots, and then the places that we go are big. So you add those two things together, plus add up the fact that we go from like 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., it's going to be a lot of distance. So you want to wear shoes that are comfortable for you. Flip-flops are not okay. Even if you wear flip-flops, take your flip-flops with you, but have something else on the bus with you, because your feet will be like blistered and raw, and it will not be good. No steel-toed boots, please. We've had students, if you always wear boots, I'm not saying you can't wear boots, but just realize steel-toed boots, every single time we go through a metal detector, you're going to have a problem. And depending on the place, they take off your boots and they look inside your boots, and they're heavy, and we're walking a lot, so just probably not steel-toed boots. Spending money. Okay, so they make things like prepaid debit cards. The positive and negative of those is some of them you can't check the balance on. So the student doesn't know how much money is left on it. That's a little bit of a problem. The other thing with those is it's just a piece of plastic, so you're not really thinking about how much you're spending, and suddenly you realize that you've just spent $50 on drinks at the rest stop and Starbucks and things like that, and you're like, oh, I can't believe I just spent all that money. But the good thing about it is, if it's linked to your bank account but it has a PIN number or something, then if it gets lost, like, your money isn't stolen, whereas cash, if someone takes it, it's just gone. So your family is going to have to make your own individual decision about that. Some people do like a debit card, some people do only cash, some people do a combination of both. It's really up to you. You really don't need that much money. There are some students that have really good self-control when it comes to money, but I would say, like, historically on these trips, 85% of students spend 100% of the money you send them with. That's my data over the last 10 years. Some kids go back with a little bit of money, but for the most part, if they've got it, they are nickels, they are spending down to the last nickel. So just think about that. All of our meals are included, but sometimes, a student might want to get a snack somewhere. You can bring snacks along with you. Personally, I bring cheap snacks along with me. I go to Walmart or Dollar Tree and stock up, and then when everybody else is buying something for $3 at the gas station, I pull out my $1 item, and I just save $2. So, but that's up to you guys. But you have a little bit of space on the bus or up above for some of your things, so you could put some snacks up there. So what is the right number on how much to bring? I'm not going to tell you that. Probably if I was sending my own student, I would probably send them with $50. I think that's generous. But, they would have some classmates that take a lot more. And personally, I spend like $2. So, some years I don't spend any, but some years I buy something, like an ice cream cone or something like that. All your meals are included, so you don't need it. So you guys are I don't need to buy souvenirs because I've been a bazillion times. You guys are going to want to buy a souvenir. We give you a $20 bill as part of what's in your, what you paid. When we get to a shop that has good prices, we have a couple vendors that typically do like $20 hooded sweatshirts. So when I find one of those people and I think that their product is good quality, we say, you don't have to buy it here, but here's your $20, and that's a good spot. But it ranges. Like, we'll go to nice places, and the stuff will be like $40. The hooded sweatshirts range from $20 to $50, depending on where you get it and what the quality is. The malls and things like that are going to be very expensive compared to a souvenir shop. T-shirts and things like that are usually in the $8 to $10 range, again, depending on how fancy the shirt is. Hats are usually around $10. Then there's all kinds of other stuff like sunglasses or playing cards or little figurine statues of the different memorials or whatever. So if somebody's supposed to buy a shirt for all 7 of their brothers and sisters, they probably need more than $50, but if they're just buying a couple things, then you probably don't need a whole lot. I will say the Gettysburg is expensive on souvenirs, but if you're really, really into like military history and stuff, you can buy souvenirs there, but they're very pricey. You know, you get like Confederate hats or Union hats or replica things or whatever, but very, very expensive. Same with the zoo. The zoo has like cute little stuffed animals, but you know, like $25 is not a good price for cute little stuffed animals. So same with the cathedral. So a lot of these places have their own gift shops. Those gift shops are expensive. But anyway, if you have more questions about money, I think I spent enough time on that. Call me, text me, we can discuss it further. You're going to be able to have one suitcase under the bus. You will not have access to that suitcase for 24 hours. You will put it on the bus when you get here. You will not see it again until we get to the hotel on Friday night. So anything that you need, medicine, contact solution, whatever you need, needs to be in your carry-on bag that you take onto the bus with you, not the bag we put under. It's too hard to open up the underneath side of the bus and scrounge around looking for somebody's bag when a lot of your bags look exactly the same. So please be aware of that. I'll be asking everybody as we're getting onto the bus, do you have everything you need until tomorrow night? I'll sound like a broken record, but you're not getting in your bag until then. Have your phone charger with you on the bus, although I will say that if 48 people are trying to all charge at once, we will blow fuses, so we need to be smart about that. So have a full charge when you get on the bus, and then we'll sort of cycle through charging so that everybody always has a charge. So in your carry-on bag, that's number 10, small little carry-on. You need your clothes for Friday. So I guess let me back up a little bit. Please, 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 on Thursday, when you get home from school, before you come back here, take a shower and put on a new outfit. Okay, because you don't want to start out in the outfit that you wore since Thursday morning and not shower till Friday night. That's a long time in close quarters with 50 other people. So go home after school on Thursday, shower, put on a new outfit, something comfortable. I'll be wearing like sweatpants and a sweatshirt. You're going to be on a bus. You don't want something fancy. You don't want something uncomfortable. You're going to be trying to sleep. You need something that's comfy for you. So put on that comfortable outfit and come with what you're going to change into in a little backpack or something. Also in your carry-on would be any medicine that you need that night or the whole next day. Any things like you can bring a blanket onto the bus, you know, like one of those fleece blankets or something, a small pillow, your headphones, you know, whatever you need in your seat space. Just realize that you don't have a ton of room. You can fit some stuff under your seat and stuff above in the overhead compartment. Toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, all those types of things put in your carry-on bag. Snacks, if you play games or something like that, whatever you need to occupy yourself until Friday night. Number 11 is kind of what I just said. We get there Friday morning in Gettysburg. We have a breakfast buffet. They open it up just for us, so typically we're the only group there. They have a few different restrooms. We sort of alternate taking turns, brushing our teeth, getting changed. And then our Gettysburg tour actually doesn't start till 9. Always in the past it's been at 8, but they're not doing tours at 8 anymore until May because it's still considered winter season. So we will have a little bit of time to explore the battlefield on our own. I'll take you to the National Cemetery and show you where Lincoln gave the Gettysburg Address. We'll go over to the Eternal Flame. We'll do a couple things on the outskirts of Gettysburg. Then we'll have our battlefield tour from 9 to 11. Then we'll head into Washington, D.C. for the rest of the day. Number 12, food and drinks are allowed on the bus, but if you have a drink, it needs to be a plastic bottle with a screw on top. If someone spills a drink, then it's a sticky mess pretty much the rest of the trip. Everyone always tries to say, well, I won't spill it, and then we get a spill, and then we have stickiness, and then it gets tracked, and then it's just not great. So please, if you're going to bring something or you're going to buy something, have a lid so that you don't have spills. We're responsible for our trash. seems like every year this is a battle. I'm going to be vigilant from the beginning on this. We should not have like 2 inches deep of pretzels and M&Ms on our floor because it just gets mushed up and then I get in trouble by the driver. Students are never to be alone. There are no exceptions to this. You always have to be with other people from our group. If you see someone alone, even if they're not your friend, they are your friend on this trip. You will be with them until you get back together. We're pretty much together everywhere we are, but when we get to some places, we say, okay, meet back right here in 1 hour, stay in groups of 4, and it's just inside of a building. Instead of moving around as a group of 50 people, we have flexibility within a museum, for example. Cell phones, I recommend if you have one, carry it with you, but be respectful and responsible. If I'm trying to tell you about a monument or something, or your Gettysburg guide's talking, or your cathedral guide's talking, you probably shouldn't be on your phone during that time. But there'll be plenty of time between spots. You're excited about what you see, call home, call a friend, text somebody, whatever, that's great. If you don't have a phone, then make sure you have a watch so you always know what time it is. And I recommend being in a group with people that have a phone. Don't ever have a group of 4 people that nobody has a phone, because then if you can't figure out where the group is, no one can get a hold of you because nobody has a phone. My phone number is on number 15. Call me if you need me, anytime, day or night. Number 16, we have a night security guard. So we go around and explain everything you need to know for the next day. We see everybody that's supposed to be in that room with our eyeballs. We know that they're all in there. We shut them in, we put a piece of tape across it. It's not prohibiting you from getting out. It just lets us know if the seal's been broken. We also have a guard that sits outside in our hallway the whole night, walking up and down, sitting, whatever, but monitoring our hallway, making sure that no one leaves any of the rooms and making sure that no one goes into any of the rooms. We want you well rested. Who your roommates are, don't get worked up about that. I know it seems like every year there's always like, oh my gosh, I can't be in a room with this person. You really should be so tired that it doesn't matter. You're going to be like hitting the pillow and falling asleep. And the first night, you're not going to believe me. You're going to say, I'm invincible. I'm not like the last 10 years worth of kids. I can stay up all night and function perfectly on Saturday. And then Saturday night, you're going to say, I'm so tired. And then you're going to go to sleep. So it's just better if you actually sleep when you're supposed to the whole time. We leave from out in the front of Fountain Central next Thursday night. Get here by 6:30 so we can be ready to leave. Please don't be late. Hope to leave by 7. Turn it over. We'll get home on Tuesday. It's usually between 6 and 6:30. Sometimes we make good time. Sometimes we make bad time. It really just depends on weather conditions or traffic or things like that. So students will start calling when we get to about Brownsburg exit or something like that. 30 minutes away or so. Our hotel is the Tyson Corner Marriott. It's a sister property to the Falls Church Marriott, which is where we typically stay, but Falls Church Marriott was sold out, so we're at Tyson Corner, but very nice hotels. Marriotts are nice hotels. Number 20, metal detectors are everywhere, so try to limit your things that are going to make the metal detectors go off. If you have, a belt with a big fancy buckle, you're probably going to need to show them that every time. That's fine if you wear a belt and you need it, but just realize the more things you have that are going to have to be taken off and put in the little tray to go through security, the slower our group moves as a whole. So try to limit that as much as you can. Most places you are allowed to take in a bag or a purse, but you have to be expected that it's going to be searched. So just realize there are sometimes you need to have certain things inside your bag, but just realize that they are going to be seen by people, so just be mindful of that. There are some places that I'll tell you we're not allowed to have bags. That's my responsibility to know the places where we can and can't have things. I'll always make sure I tell you what you're allowed to take with you. Because I've been so many times, I have a pretty good idea of where the best shopping is. I can't always guarantee it. Some of the best shopping are street vendors, and I don't always know where they're going to be. I don't know them other than oh yeah, that guy usually is on this corner, right? But we typically know the shops that are more expensive versus the shops that are cheaper, and we will try to tell you that, but it's your business on where you buy your souvenirs from. There is a DVD player on the bus, so if you want to bring some appropriate DVDs, we'll play a few on the way out and the way back. Room captains will be established. All that means is that you have two jobs really. The room captain is responsible for the room key. The room captain's also responsible for making sure that when we're doing counts before we leave to go somewhere else. So we get back to a meeting spot, instead of counting 48 students, we only talk to the room captains. The room captain sees the other 3 people from the room, and then we're ready to go. So those will be established next week. Memorials. You're allowed to leave things. If you know someone whose name is on the Vietnam Wall, text me that information with the exact spelling as soon as you can, because I can look up from home what panel they're on, and I'll bring the supplies to do rubbing. If no one tells me, I won't bring those supplies along with me, so just make sure if you want me to look up a name, tell me the name ahead of time and I'll bring the appropriate stuff to help you find it and do a rubbing. Same with Arlington National Cemetery. If you know someone that's buried there, let me know ASAP, because I'll have to make a plan. Sometimes every year I usually show somebody a family grave site, but sometimes it's as much as a mile away from any other spot that we are within the cemetery. It's a very, very big cemetery, so I have to make a plan on how we're going to do that and how the rest of the group's going to move. So let me know that very early on if you can. Number 26, the wreath laying ceremony. You guys will find out tomorrow if you're a part of that. Thank you guys for so much participation in that. I didn't read any of them, but I know that you turned them in and they've been read by several staff members, and you guys did a great job. If there's rain expected in the forecast, bring in a small umbrella or one of those, like those little 50-cent or $1 ponchos that are in a packet. You know, if there's a lot of rain in the forecast, bring 2 or 3 of those so you can just throw them away and you don't have this wet thing that you're carrying around. There are lots of postcards for sale, and they're really cool and pretty, and sometimes people want to like mail them home. Lots of postcards, lots of places to mail them from, but nowhere to buy stamps. So if you want your student to send a postcard home, please send them with stamps, because we won't be able to find any. 29, no drama. You pay too much for this trip for petty drama to ruin anybody's day. If there's something going on, just let one of the adults on the trip know right away. We'll try to resolve the problem quickly and effortlessly, and hopefully move past it. So keep us posted. Don't let something fester to a point of where it gets you upset. Usually that nothing happens, but if people are tired, sometimes their moods are such that, you know, they maybe say things or do things they normally wouldn't. Homesick? Question mark. We are very busy, but it does happen from time to time, and that's okay. Right? Just let somebody know. We're going to help you get through that situation. What we don't want is, you know, 2 days into it to find out from a parent that this kid is just like crying themselves to sleep at night and we didn't know that. So again, most of you probably won't have a problem, but it's fine if you do. Come and let us know. We'll try to help you through that situation. Parents, if you're hearing things from your student at home, or you're at home and you're hearing things, you can't solve their problem 600 miles away. So contact me and I'll solve the problem for you. Don't wait. You know, hopefully the student would talk to us, but maybe they feel more comfortable telling you. If it's something that needs resolved, let us know. I went through that as a big list. I felt like I went through it quick, but you might have felt like it drug on forever, so sorry about that. Any questions based on all of that? Good. Really excited about a great trip. I've heard great things about this group, and I'm not just saying that. Like, you know, sometimes I hear like, oh, this group maybe has some discipline problems, or this is a good group, or this is a great group, and I've heard great things about this group, so I'm looking forward to it. It always makes it easier for us if we don't have a lot of problems to deal with on the trip. We have a few more things for you to fill out, and you're going to turn all of those in. Do we have any situations where the parent's here but the student isn't? Okay, a couple situations maybe like that. If it's one of those deals, make sure you get the paperwork turned in as soon as possible to the school, especially the food order form. For the most part, the way that our food works, we have several places. We have a buffet. And then we have several, 4 times where we'll have vouchers. So I give you a voucher and then there's like 15 choices of where you can eat. Well, there's a few times where we have to put in our order ahead of time and it gets made for us. So we're going to walk through the food order form together because nobody wants their food to be messed up, and you don't have that one quite yet, but you can work on the one is just a simple signature, so that's very easy. When you get forms done, you can kind of hold them up in the air and an adult will come and pick them up. The other one requires a little bit more effort. You're filling out several things. That's the medical one. That medical one, you want to make sure you have it filled out completely. I've only had to take kids to the doctor twice, and it's not ideal, but that medical one helps us with that because they are a minor and I'm not their parent. So it helps to have your signature on that because that's saying, like, if, you know, that you're giving us the right to get medical treatment. Obviously, we're not going to take your student to the doctor unless it's necessary or unless we've talked to you probably multiple times about it, but you know, sometimes that does come up. So make sure you fill that one out carefully. Oh, the dinner dance. I didn't talk about the dance. So the dance is just us. It's not kids from other schools or anything. So it's totally up to you on what you wear. And we have the whole range. Personally, I will just wear what I wore probably the whole day. But some of you guys, that's your chance if you want to change clothes. You know, some people like just wear what they wore all day, wore shorts and a t-shirt or whatever. And other kids like bring a dress and like really just go to town with that. So the dance is totally up to you on dress code. It's just at a place that's like a buffet / pizza place. They have a section where they clear out the area. They have the lights and they have a DJ. So it's not with other students. You're not trying to like, you know, get a boyfriend or girlfriend from another state or anything like that. It's just you guys with the dance, but so consider that. So if you want to wear something different, then you need clothes in your carry-on for Friday, an outfit for Saturday, an outfit for Sunday, an outfit for Monday. That's 3 outfits in your suitcase. If you want to wear something different to the dance, that's a 4th outfit, and you probably want something comfortable to wear back on the bus. You know, that's up to you if it's a different outfit or the same one you wore on the bus ride out or whatever. A couple recommendations otherwise, you might want to bring like a trash bag for your dirty clothes. Keep them separate from your clean clothes, especially if you sweat a lot. You might want to like contain the smell of that with 4 people in a room. If you sweat a lot or your shoes are smelly or whatever, it can kind of stink up the place. So a trash bag might help for your dirty clothes. A second pair of shoes, if there's rain in the forecast, might be a good idea. Nobody wants to wear wet shoes around all day. It's not required. You know, one good pair is fine, but if you had a pair to change into if there's rain. It might not rain, I don't know, but again, I haven't looked at the forecast for a couple of days. And it can still change. It's really far out. As you're filling those out, if you think of other questions, please let me know.